After 4 years, Jack Bauer is back, but does 24 Live Another Day live up to expectations? To find out, we brought together IGN 24 experts, Eric Goldman and Eric Martin, henceforth known as LA Eriq and SF Eriq. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, Greg. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming. LA Eriq, you cover TV for a living. It's your whole job. All I want to know is, does this feel like classic 24?
It definitely does. I mean, it really feels like they hit the ground running again, and you hear that opening theme, you see Jack, and it's like, wow, this is 24. And I do have to say, I felt pretty good watching it as far as, yeah, I miss Jack Bauer. I miss 24. It was a fun show. It has a really unique feel. It doesn't feel like any other show on network TV. So I definitely feel it recaptures what 24 was.
SF Eriq, do you agree? We're 2 hours into this whole 12-hour run here, 12 episodes. How do you feel?
I agree completely with Eric. It's like you said, it was a great feeling to hear the slowly the beep, 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 beep coming together. Like I've been watching 24 for all 8 seasons, and it was just good to see it come back. Great to see Jack being back and Chloe being Chloe.
Well, now you bring that up, but LA Eriq, of course, there's a new dynamic between these two, right? Things are different than they were in the past 8 seasons. You want to bring us all up to speed on that and what you thought of it?
Well, yeah, we knew Jack was on the run at the end of the season 8, but now we found out that Chloe, she also kind of went off the grid. They gave her this very dramatic, girl with the dragon tattoo overhaul with the tattoos. A little much maybe on the visual side, but I like the idea that they're both kind of fugitives and that they're actually kind of at odds. Once he rescues her, it turns out he's also kind of using her. And it is interesting to see them so antagonistic, even though, I feel pretty confident they'll make, they'll connect again and be helping each other out. It was a little different. And the fact that neither of them are at CTU or really any government agency, I thought that was cool.
SF Eriq, as a fan, do you like this? I can't, he's saved the world so many times. Can't we? Why you got to be you got to be on the run, you got to do this, everything's got to be changed. What do you think of it?
It's crazy that he saved the U.S. 8 times, and he's still called a terrorist, he's a traitor. But it's it's cool. It serves the story. Jack Bauer is his own thing. He doesn't follow any rules. He loves his country. The people he respects, he deeply respects. In the show, he only reason he's doing this because to help a friend out.
Right.
I respect Jack Bauer for what he does. I don't respect the government for labeling him as a traitor, personally.
Fair enough. I'm glad you're taking it out on this fictional government. That's what LA Eriq, this show's only as strong really as the villains Jack has to go up against. How do you feel? 2 hours in, how do you feel about this cast?
Well, it's interesting because most seasons of 24 do that thing where there's kind of fake out villains and it's like mini bosses almost before we get the real reveal. But I do wonder with only 12 episodes, maybe that's going to happen a lot quicker. So I am intrigued by Michelle Farley. Kat Stark has this mysterious woman we're seeing who seems to be the person in charge making the evil calls. It's 24. There's probably someone else she's either working for or with.
I was gonna say you can't. You can't just be. You got to be ready. You can't say that they usually fake you out, but this time you're committed.
Yeah, exactly. So don't count on that. But I did think she's a cool element. I like her as an actress, and this is a cool role for her. She was kind of a last-minute replacement for someone else, but I think it'll be fun to see her in this role.
San Francisco, Eric.
Yeah, I agree. I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I don't know. Yeah, I know.
What? How do you work in this office and not... What?
I'm trying to get someone to HBO Go to watch it. But back to 24. Yeah, just like you said, I'm used to fake outs. I'm used to a mole in CTU. There's no CTU this time, but I think one of the characters, Eric, another Eric, is gonna be a mole, if there is a mole in this whole 12 episode arc. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the villains. The villains are always mean and malicious for no reason, and they always have they're always just jerks. I love it.
See, I have this different theory on the mole and who the bad guy will be, as there's giant noises going on at the LA office. But I think that it's not. I think Eric's going to be the guy who's the jerk until the very end when he does something really heroic and dies, saving Jack.
Oh,
and I think the mole will be Tate Donovan's character, the guy who's I think Audrey's husband now, working for the president. That's my theory.
See, I would agree with that, but he's the chief of staff, and they already had moles in the president. The chief of staff, president's chief of staff in season 7, I believe, was already the villain, or season 6. So I don't think they're going to do it again. The mole is now being a mole is now in CTU is just a standpoint. They do it every single time. It's
LA.
like Lupus and House.
L.A. Eriq, how much have you missed this conversation? It's been a long time since you were able to argue about who the mole is going to be.
And no, it is fun. I mean, it's look, there's pros and cons of 24, and it definitely fell into a lot of sort of tropes and go-tos that sometimes made us roll our eyes, for sure. And yeah, it's hard to believe that none of these people are actually not going to turn out to be a bad guy. That's just how it works. But it is kind of fun. It becomes part of the game of 24, and I think that the producers even know that. Sometimes they totally fail. I think like the Katie Sackhoff character in season 8 was a real failure to make a mole character work, but sometimes it can be actually a legitimately fun twist.
I mean, you're talking about tropes and stuff like that. Some people think that, later on, as you got towards the end of the 24 TV series run, that they kind of fell apart. Are there any red flags you're seeing here, or is this like everything's great so far?
The first red flag I see is, I think her character's name is Kate. I don't like her acting. She's in Chuck.
I was coming out swinging on this poor woman, attacking her where she makes her living.
I mean, I don't know. I'm so used to 24's had a lot of strong female characters, and it just seems like they wrote her character to be strong without any like her in the show. Her husband was a traitor, but I don't like how the actress is portraying her at all. Personally, that's just me. I don't review things, so.
L.A. Eriq, you review everything TV related. How are you feeling? Red flags?
Well, yeah, I will defend my Yvonne Strahovski. I'm a huge Chuck fan. To me, I'm actually kind of happy just to see her. It's a pretty similar character, even though Chuck was a much more comical show. She played the serious kick-ass CIA agent, doing the same thing here, but I like her a lot. The red flags are all kind of the fact that maybe they're going to stumble in the same places they have before. I do worry about, we were joking beforehand about the idea that no one listens to Jack or even to Kate now. So Kate's supposed to be the person who's kind of the smart one at CIA. There's some stuff with her boss, with that guy Eriq, all questioning her when it seems like she's making very logical points. And that's where 24 can sometimes test you, is when the characters are just acting like jerks to further the plot. One other way I'll say it is the guy who's now going to be in Star Wars. I hope I pronounced his last name right, John Boyega. Yep. He's the guy operating the drones who's now looking like he's guilty, even though we know he's not. The fact that they're like, your boss wouldn't let you go on leave, so we think you killed him. That's the kind of leap sometimes that the jerks on 24 make that make you go, come on, maybe you can dial back a little.
See, like I believe that one because, I mean, if you think about it, a drone, to them, someone else controlling a drone from somewhere else is impossible to them. So it's only logical that he did it. The reasoning, yeah, it's a little, like, we can leave, sorry, but I believe, I agree with that they put all the blame on him, because right. I would initially think it's him.
I would just think that they would also wonder, why would he make it so obvious he did it since he's the guy controlling the drone,
Well, if you make it obvious, no one will think it's you. It'll be too obvious.
Exactly.
That's TV and movie logic. This like stuff needs to happen in order for it to be an entertaining story.
Right.
All right, so L.A. Eriq, we know that it's only 12 episodes this time, not 24, and we know they are going to actually skip ahead, jump time. How do you feel about that? Are you on board with that decision?
I'm actually really excited about that decision because one thing that was a problem for 24 were those middle episodes, the infamous stuff like his daughter and was it the cougar?
The cougar.
There was always these plot lines in the middle of the season where they were kind of trying to keep people busy that became really ridiculous. With only 12 episodes, it can be a tighter season, and the idea that they're going to eventually jump ahead in time in between episodes, make a leap. I think it's just fun to have a slight tweak on the formula. Every episode is still going to take place within 1 hour, but I think it's going to be better for the show to be half as many episodes.
SF Eriq, do you feel slighted?
I think because of the fanboy in me, I don't like it's only 12 hours. Aside from that cougar storyline, I personally enjoyed all of the middle. Like each season has had 3 arcs. Something happens the first one, the second arc is something that's like not really related. They just happen to get there. The third one takes from the first one, and I've always liked and it actually had left more room for plot twists as well. But yeah, I liked it when it had 24 episodes. It made it feel cooler, real time. Now there's 12 hours. I am interested to see where they're gonna skip forward because I'm so used to just everything being in real time, and so when they skip 3 hours, 4 hours, like what happened in those 4 hours? I generally want to know. Yeah,
I'm curious. Someone actually, I think, tweeted me today or said somewhere how I guess one of the producers had said that the first 8 episodes, which I think are the ones they've completed, haven't had any time skips in between episodes yet. So I'm really curious. I mean, for all we know, it could be in between episode 11 and 12 could have this giant leap
A decade.
to like, well, 11 hours later to get us to the end, which could actually be interesting. Yeah.
I'd be okay with that, actually. Yeah, I would like that. That'd be cool.
All right, so I mean, LA Eriq, you cover this all the time. You know the business inside and out. If this does well, I mean, what does that mean for 24? Are we going to get a whole, a giant season again? Is it going to be back?
I have this feeling we're not going to get another 24 episode season. I just think that, I think the writers, it was hard for them. They got that almost the entire team came back, even Howard Gordon, who runs Homeland and all these other shows. But one reason they could do that was a shorter season. I think the actors like it more. Kiefer likes it more, and the network. So I don't think we're going to get another 24 episode season. But if this is a hit, I bet you they're going to try to make this an annual thing. Maybe each summer we'll get like a new 24 miniseries.
Okay. And Eriq, final question for you. Eriq SF, would you be down with that? Are you okay? Would you be on board with more 24 summer?
More 24 the better, in my opinion. If it has to be 12 episode seasons, then more 24 is better than 0-24 in my opinion.
Right.
I've been waiting for this for a very long time.
Well, great. Guys, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of 24 Live Another Day? Let us know in the comments below. Then make sure you keep coming back to IGN for every news, rumor, and review about that Jack Bauer.